Credit to the Vikings, man. They played a really great game today. They beat us up and down the field physically. They were a really good team, and they made a lot of plays today. So credit to those guys. Really well coached team. Respect those guys, and they did a great job today. For us, we didn't do anything to help ourselves. Way too many penalties again. That starts with me. There's too many penalties, back-to-back game, over 10 penalties. It's unacceptable. You can't win that way when we have something positive going. We negate it by the penalty, so that just zaps the energy out of everyone. And so, turning the ball over, there's a lot of miscues today, and you can't do that and then expect to win in this league. So we have to, we take the loss and we got to move on.
How we doing, people? How are we doing, people? Week 3 of the NFL. Exciting stories. Texans got smacked all over the place. All over the place. In Minnesota. Oh, man. We're going to dig deep. We're going to go into the scoreboard. But NFL this week has been wasn't short of amazing. I will say that. So we're going to start with the Texans real quick. Self-inflicted wounds. You can't win when you beat yourself. Can't win when you beat yourself. There may be 2 or 3 factors in that game. Obviously, the penalties. You can't get anything done when you have multiple penalties back to back to back and throughout the game. And then on top of that, you allow their best player to get off and to get a rhythm early and often. Justin Jefferson. Now, I don't know what the game plan was going into that game, but I'll tell you one thing. Justin Jefferson should have been on high alert, and maybe he was on high alert, but attention to detail wasn't there on the defensive side for the Texans. You can't allow Minnesota to get a rhythm, get hot, get going with their best player early in the game. Can't do it. So in this game, the Texans started off without even their feet on the ground. Before they said take off, go, the game was already getting crazy, getting out of hand. They had to play uphill, which they played uphill the whole game. Never got a rhythm on offense. Now all these penalties, I don't know where they're coming from. Last week, they got to clean that up. But the Texans never got off the ground. They got hit in the mouth, and they've been staggering the whole game. Big plays was eliminated by the Minnesota's defense. We got to give them credit. Minnesota got some outstanding defense, okay? They kept pressure on C.J. Stroud. That was another thing. Number 1, penalties. Often throughout the game, penalties. 2, not paying attention to detail on other superstars that's sitting across from you, Justin Jefferson. Paying attention to detail, this guy should have never got loose as much as he has throughout this game. He is their best player. You allowed him to get off. Great players get their team going. Big catches, big runs, scoring touchdowns. Justin Jefferson is arguably, if not, the best wide receiver in the game. And you got him running free, picking up chunk plays, running for touchdowns. Assignments were blown, and you put yourself in a disadvantage. Cannot do that. Cannot do it. Number 3, where was the protection for C.J. Stroud? Now, we're going to credit the back end secondary of Minnesota's defense. We don't want to discredit them. It's probably a reason why he was holding the ball a little longer than he should. He couldn't find people open. Man, we got 3, 4, 5 weapons. It's hard to believe. But C.J. Stroud was pressured throughout the whole game. They put him on the ground. They rattled him. They ran schemes. They changed up some things on defense, surprised him a little bit. And there you have it. They weren't going to go undefeated the whole season. They just ended up meeting their match. They get an opportunity to play them again, maybe it'll be different. But Minnesota Vikings at home, they look like they're a hell of a team this year. Quarterback, a guy that got ran out of New York. Thought that he was going to be their franchise quarterback. They had to get rid of him. Inconsistency. He's in Minnesota right now looking like Joe Namath. Hey man, I don't know what you doing drunk, but it's working. It's working. So that's plain and simple for the Houston Texans. Everybody saw the game, or if you just look at the matter of fact, I want to pull something up just before we get off these Texans. Key things to this game. So take a look at that. We're gonna look at 3 categories, key categories on this stat sheet. This is actually the team stats. But I want to take a look at 3 things. Number 1, look at the rushing. 38 rushing yards to 118 to the Vikings. No running game whatsoever. Can't run the ball, you won't win ball games. Throw 11 penalties on top of that. And no attention to detail on the defensive side of the ball. Equals a loss. 38 to 118. We're going to take a look at something else. Penalties. 11 flags for 88 yards. To 5 flags to 30 yards to the Vikings. Do that look like a discrepancy there? Too many flags. So when you're just about to get something going, you're going back. Erased. Every time you make a good play, you're moving back. Another one is turnovers. 2 turnovers to Minnesota's what? 0. There it is, folks. It's plain and simple. This is how you lose ball games. Texans wasn't sharp at all throughout this game. They hurt themselves, and some things that Minnesota did. Changed some things up, made it interesting, made it challenging for them on offense. But when you turn the football over, you can't run the ball. You got penalties all over the place. Simple. It's very simple. And that's what happened to the Houston Texans. Plain and simple. So we're going to move along. It's a Sunday night game that I want to get to. I've been dying to get to. I have no idea what the Atlanta Falcons were thinking. I was beside myself last night. And I'm not going for either team. I just want to watch a good football game. But if you're an Atlanta Falcons fan and you watch that last play, 4th and inches, are these guys out of their minds or what? You run a wraparound sweep on 4th and inches to Bijan Robinson, get it stuffed, game over. Number 1, you ever heard of a quarterback sneak? And if you think Cousins is old and decrepit and they can't run no quarterback sneak, which I don't care who it is. Inches. Get in a power lead play. How about that? Slam Bijan Robinson down the line of scrimmage. Straight line drive if you want to run the ball and hand it off. But you actually going to want to run a wraparound sweep and think that you're going to pick that up. Sometimes I don't know what these teams be thinking, man. They deserve to lose that game off of stupidity. 4th and inches. The game was there for the Falcons to win. And this is what I talk about, how Kansas City Chiefs always getting off the snide, how they end up getting some luck. It's behind stuff like this. Teams is like they're losing oxygen in their brain as the time winds down and it gets to the fourth quarter. Whoever called that play, offensive coordinator, whoever called that play, they're out of their minds. Out of their minds. You don't go horizontal on a play like that. You go vertical. Inches, fourth and inches. And they're surprised he didn't pick that up. I gotta calm down. I'm flaring up. But that play right there, oh my goodness, man. They don't want to win. Still got 2 games left for Monday night. For Monday night. What you got? Jaguars and Bills. Commanders and Bengals. Got a doubleheader for Monday Night Football. It might can patch it up a little bit, but even if I get both of those games, not going to be good. I don't think I'm getting 500 this week. I don't. It's bad. I don't think I'm getting 500 this week. Let's go through this scoreboard. We got the Jets beat the Patriots 24-3. Jets at home got the Patriots 24-3. Eagles and Saints 15-12. Nobody would ever guess that score would have been 15-12. You expect a high scoring game from both of these teams. Eagles are very lucky in this game. They got multiple opportunities from these Saints. It was a back and forth game. At one point, nobody could score. They just kept punting the ball off to each other. 3 and outs. Lucky the Eagles were able to muster up something to get that last lead and was able to keep it. But Alvin Kamara, man, whew, that dude is a beast. He is a beast. You had to put pressure on Carr. We all know about the cars. You have to put the pressure on the car. If you can't apply pressure to make that airbag come out, they're going to drive that car right down the highway. So Derek Carr, David Carr, you have to apply pressure. Once you make the airbag come out, you're going to win the game. That's when mistakes going to happen. They're going to crash. They're going to burn. So the Eagles was able to do that, sustain, and win this game. Win the game. Jalen Hurts, for Jalen Hurts, I'm still up and down on him right now. I still don't like the way he holds on to the ball. That's going to cost him in big games. It's costing him now early in this season. He has to get rid of the football. That's going to be an issue. Now, Fangio on this defense. That's one way to get back from the previous week. You held the Saints to 12 points. You got them to turn over the football. We'll give you an A+ this week. We'll see if you can continue this. Because as far as Derek Carr, yeah, he's an all right quarterback. I'm not going to make him all world. But when you start going up against these Josh Allens, Burrows, you know what I mean? Of course, Mahomes. What's your defense going to do then when it matters the most? That's when I want to see it. So Eagles got off the snide, got the win. Blessing for that because it was a pressure-packed game. They had to get it, and they got it. So they pulled that one out 15-12. Fangio lives on to the next week. Broncos and Buccaneers. Broncos got the Buccaneers 26-7. That one shocked me a little bit. I expected the Buccaneers to pull that out at home against the Broncos. Didn't happen. Hey, 26-7. Bears and Colts. Colts at home, 21-16 against the Bears. That one didn't go my way either. It came down to the last inning. I think Caleb Williams, they got that last touchdown, and all they had to do was play some defense. Try to stop them, couldn't do that. Colts was able to close out the game, 21-16. But, Colts look like they're moving on, man. They're trying to get a little something going here in the Texans division. Right. Dolphins and Seahawks. Seahawks got the Dolphins 24-3. I don't know what's going on in Miami, but all of a sudden now they can't score points.
Oh, that's not good.
Something is going on in Miami. Tua, maybe it meant that much. But the Seahawks look like they don't need Pete Carroll. You know what I mean? That's what I'm looking at. They are rolling. Don't look half bad. 49ers and Rams. Did y'all watch that game? Did y'all see the highlights of that game? 49ers had that game in the bag. They had the game in the bag. Brock Purdy running around smiling, laughing, thinking this thing is over. Oh no. Depleted Rams. Gutted it out, found a way on a McVay, and pulled this game out and delivered a shocker. At home. Everybody thought this game was pretty much done. No. 49ers left a little crack open. Rams slid in. There it is. 27-24. Game-winning field goal. Ravens and Cowboys. Ravens dropped the Cowboys 28-25. Last moments of that game got interesting. Cowboys found a little momentum. They tried to make them a miraculous comeback. Ran out of steam. Ravens pulled it out. Cowboys got some issues going on. They have some serious issues. Ceedee Lamb. I like Ceedee Lamb. I like him even more after watching this game. Because once they started getting Ceedee Lamb the ball, more things started to happen. Ceedee Lamb was frustrated throughout that game. He's wondering why he's not getting the ball. Give him the ball. He pulled an A.J. Brown on him. And rightfully so. He's the big money man. You just paid him. He's the best player pretty much on your team. Why aren't you getting him the ball? Great things happen when you get him the ball. So I liked him voicing his opinion, his displeasure on the sideline. They heard him. They started getting him the ball. Next thing you know, things are changing around. Cowboys got a shot. Their defense is starting to make plays. They just ran out of steam. They should have started the game the way they ended the game. So there you have it. 28-25, ran out of steam. A lot of talk about the Cowboys now. Is this season going to go down in the dumps? Or are they going to be able to salvage it? Giants and Browns. That was a shocker. Giants got off the snide. Those are the misfits. When they beat who used to be the misfits, maybe turning back into the misfits, the Cleveland Browns. They beat the Browns in their backyard 21-15. I didn't see that one coming. But you play these games each week enough, might pull out a game or two. Texans and Vikings, we already covered that one. The Vikings beat the Texans 34-7. Texans never got off the ground. Never got it started in that ball game. Have to show up next week. Got to get that funk off of them. And they cannot have another game like that moving forward for the rest of this season, to where they're shooting themselves in the foot and they're not able to accumulate points to even compete. They can't have no more games like that. Just can't afford it. Packers and Titans. I think I went with the Titans on that one. And man, did the Packers show up 30-14 in Tennessee. 30-14. I won't make that mistake again. Titans. Chargers and Steelers. Steelers beat the Chargers 20-10. Oh, Fields, man. This might be goodbye to Russell Wilson. He'll be on that sideline watching the rest of the season unless something crazy happens with Fields. But yeah, 3-0. Steelers are moving. Keep that going against a good Chargers team. Justin Herbert looked like he's going to be out. He was in a boot after that game. Don't know if he's going to be back next week. He might miss a certain amount of time. Might hurt them. But Steelers win it 20-10. Panthers and Raiders. Panthers got off the snide 36-22. You bench your man, you win a game. Bryce Young benched, and they come in and put 36 points on the Raiders, win it 36-22. Told you this is a bad week for me. Lions and Cardinals. Lions beat the Cardinals 20-13 in Arizona. Doesn't get good. Chiefs and Falcons. Chiefs beat the Falcons 22-17. We already talked about that one. Just a bonehead play call at the end right there. 4th and inches, you want to go horizontal instead of vertical. Oh man, I'm glad I ain't an Atlanta fan, because I would have been on suicide watch with this one here. It doesn't make sense. You have the game in the bag. They still can't get over the Super Bowl that they flopped away. It's still coming back to haunt them off of bonehead plays like that on 4th and inches. Monday night game, Commanders and Bengals. Did I go with the Bengals on now? I believe so. Yeah, the Bengals are going to be fired up. They're going to be looking to pull this one out. No doubt. And I got to check. I think I got the Bills tonight as well. And that's the scoreboard. So, let's sum this thing up. Texans pretty much beat themselves and got out-executed by the Minnesota Vikings. Not paying attention to detail, turning the ball over. Everything you can name in a game to help you lose, Texans did that. Number 2, Philadelphia Eagles. They just lived for another week. Fangio defense finally came through, made some plays, made some stops, and they were able to sneak out a win against the Saints. It was a point in that game or a stretch. Both teams couldn't score. They kept punting it back to each other. Eventually, Eagles found some juice, so to speak, able to get a game-winning touchdown, and they was able to hold on to it. So it's nothing just great about that game, but they just won it. Live to see another week. Okay? Now, Chiefs and Falcons. Falcons, bonehead play. Had the game in the bag. Falcons lost that game. Had every opportunity to win it. Falcons lost that game. Chiefs didn't go win that game. Sometimes play calling can be a big factor, especially in the winding down moments. You got to keep your cool. Sometimes when you get cute, you lose fancy. Okay? That's exactly what happened to the Falcons. They got cute and they lost fancy. Sometimes it's simple. They could have done an easy little fullback handoff. Would have done a better job than that and got closer. Could have picked up the first down. Or Bijan Robinson in a power lead play. Quarterback sneak. You had all these things to your disposal. And you want to do a wraparound sweep where you're going horizontal instead of vertical? don't make sense. I'm sorry. It's not smart. And when you play dumb, you deserve to lose. So yeah, it still got me a little hot because I hate football like that. Sometimes you can outsmart yourself a little too much. GSQH, Goodymo Sports Quick Hits. This is Making It Monday. We did the scoreboard, a little Texan talk, a little Eagle talk, and a debacle of the Atlanta Falcons. Y'all enjoy y'all week. We out of here. Peace.